As we look at this beautiful, bright flame, we take it inside to the place of divine love and divine light. When we go within to the place of divine light and love, there we find peace and faith. Good afternoon. My name is Deborah Martin, and I'm your prayer partner for today. Let me be one of the first to thank all those people who were working behind the scenes to change our Zoom meeting from this morning to this afternoon. We are super appreciative of your efforts. Glad it was you and not me. Thank you. Let us begin in prayer. As we begin our prayer, please close your eyes, and if you are comfortable doing so, take a few deep breaths to feel the divine presence that lives within us, the divine truth that we focus on by putting aside earthly things. We release these earthly concerns now, and in doing so, we quiet our minds. And having released these earthly concerns, we stop, breathe, and feel the presence of the divine. As we continue to breathe, we bring in the candlelight within to the place of divine love and divine light. In May, we are celebrating the theme of curiosity. In these interesting times, we might also experience a similar situation to the one that Luke describes as follows. Amazement seized all of them, and they glorified God and were filled with awe, saying, "We have seen strange things today." We affirm that it is appropriate and timely to renew our sense of amazement and wonder. We rededicate ourselves to the certainty of the truth. We rekindle our commitment to spiritual growth, to developing our awareness of the great and wonderful presence of the divine within us, to view the world with wonder, much as a child would. We give free rein to our inquisitiveness to find the meaning in all that we experience. We are blessed to have Reverend Dr. Martha Creek with us today to support our curiosity, to help us accept the mysteries of life, and to move us from a closed mindset to a growth mindset. And for all these and many other blessings, we say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Deborah, for your wonderful opening prayer, and welcome back to our community. So I would like to welcome all of you back to Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa's online afternoon Sunday service. And I'm so grateful that we have an opportunity to meet this afternoon, that everyone said yes. And, it's beautiful outside. And what a testament it is to the gathering of spirit to have you all with us. And I'm also so grateful to Brenda Mason, who is an awesome service facilitator for the last 2 weeks. And wonderful to be able to work with you, Brenda. My name is Linda McCabe, and I am honored to be the service facilitator for this beautiful May long weekend. Before we start our service, I would like to acknowledge the Algonquin Nation, on whose traditional unceded territory we are holding this online service. And we gratefully acknowledge them as past, present, and future stewards of this land. And I'd like to welcome Spencer back. We have him live, which is a wonderful. And to open with our first joy song, "Swing Wide the Doors" by Daniel Namoth.
Swing wide the doors, the time's right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn of humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand now what I'm here for, and what this life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness. kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about letting a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. Lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. There's a voice that I've heard for years. I learned to keep it inside. Well, now it's coming in loud and clear. I want a deeper life. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. Lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine.
Thank you, Spencer. Oh, and thank you again to this wonderful community for being here. It is already the middle of May, and this means that we have lived almost half of the year. And some of us have been given time to be quiet, to go within, to listen and cultivate. Others, especially our frontline heroes, have had to continue their very busy lives while creatively finding time to also be quiet and go within. For many of us, there have been challenges with this. And have you noticed how our stuff comes up when we're quiet? While difficult, the good news is it's coming up for us to look at, and we can choose to release it. And we are so delighted that our guest speaker today is none other than our dear friend, Reverend Dr. Martha Creek, an expert at navigating this human minefield, and her timing could not be better, both for this morning and both because of, our whole social isolation situation. So we will hear from Reverend Martha a little later. And I don't know about you, but I see so many people out walking and biking. And I wonder, are you one of those walkers? Do you walk to get exercise and release stress? Do you walk to be inspired by what you see around you? Do you walk to receive messages from nature? Maybe you've answered yes to all three questions. I invite you to take the time, slow down, look, listen, smell, feel. What bird is getting your attention? What tree? What flower? What scent do you smell? Maybe it's the sunlight reflecting on the water. Maybe it's a cloud formation in the sky. Maybe it's something someone said as you pass by. Pay attention. Nature is constantly talking to us, guiding us, and loving us. And as we listen, we experience our vision, an awakened world celebrating oneness. Take a breath and reflect on the questions I've just asked, and notice how you are experiencing the ESCO vision, an awakened world celebrating oneness. And we do this by expanding consciousness and transforming lives. And we have been working with our perfect vision for the first half of this year. 2020, seen through a spiritual lens. And as we reflect on the consequences of these past few months, it's really an invitation to see even deeper through our hearts and through perhaps a different way of looking at the world. Just how do we see perfectly through the eyes of spirit. Our Unity Worldwide theme for May is curiosity. And join me in your muted environments and say, I live in a world of wonder. And I see there's an ice cream cone there, reflecting the wonder of deliciousness, cool flavors. Yeah, stimulates the imagination. And our Unity's first principle, which we are focused on this month, is God is all. God is all good and active in everything, everywhere. And that really was what got me thinking about nature and the presence of the divine in nature, in all life, and in just even the budding of the trees. There's so much to just be aware of. And so we move into our announcements. And starting this in June 2nd, Unity Canada is offering a 5-session program on healing and wholeness. And, you know, for any of you who've been with Unity for a while, you will know that Unity started as a healing ministry, really, with Myrtle Fillmore's co-founder of Unity healing from her diagnosis of tuberculosis. And both her and Charles have written a number of books on how to let God help and return to wholeness. And so Unity Canada is delighted to have Judy Murakami, a licensed Unity teacher from Unity Comox Valley, who will be facilitating this session. So if you want any more information, please you can register on the link. It's also in the e-news. And if you need also any information, you can always email the office. So calling all storytellers. So the question is, would somebody in our community, just feel within and get a sense of, is there a 5-minute conversation that you would like to have with our community on, how has your faith, how have Unity principles, how is this community or other communities supported and challenged you during your time of isolation? So it's really, I know some of you have stories, and we've had a few Sunday services where we've heard from our congregates, and it's been really uplifting and inspiring. And so if any of you feel the call, this is the time. So please contact the office at officeunityottawa@yahoo.ca, and we'll be happy to reach out and explore this with you. We're ideally looking for 3 to 4 people at 5 minutes each. So we're standing by, ready to call, ready to email you. Thank you. And Deb Maloney has been doing this wonderful job of staying in touch. She's reached out to people, she is collecting a list of emails and phone numbers from anyone who would be willing to have their email and phone number shared within the community so that you can, do your own staying in touch and communicating, creating your own Zoom linkages and meetings and FaceTime or whatever technology you like to use. So if you want to have your phone number, your contact information shared, then please email Deb at debmaloney48@gmail.com, and she will make sure that you're on that list. Thank you. Now, we've had our share of Zoom, what can go wrong with Zoom this morning. So just to know that there is a mandatory Zoom upgrade on May 30th. So if you have a chance to upgrade your Zoom before then, wonderful, because if not, it will be automatically upgraded when you log in, and that can be a bit disconcerting. Sheila is also going to put this information and a direct link to the updates section, which is zoom.us/download, and that will be in next week's newsletter. So just a reminder to please join our newsletter. It's the one way that you can keep up to date with what's happening with USCO, to receive our weekly Zoom links, and to send emails to to our office. So that's the address again, is officeunityottawa@yahoo.ca, and Sheila will add you to our list. So Spencer, we'll take it away with Stepping Out by Reverend Michael Goff. Here's a joy song you can dance and sing to in the comfort of your own homes.
I'm stepping out into a world of possibilities. I'm stepping out into a whole new way to live. There's so much waiting for me. The path is clear before me. I've got so much that I have yet to give. Stepping out and I'm committed to integrity. I'm stepping out and releasing every fear and doubt. The road just keeps on turning, but every turn I'm learning what this life is all about. And I'm stepping out. Stepping out into a world of possibility. I'm stepping out into a whole new way to live. So much waiting for me. The path is clear before me. I've got so much that I have yet to give. I'm stepping out and I'm committed to integrity. I'm stepping out, releasing every fear and doubt. The road just keeps on turning, but every turn I'm learning what this life is all about. And I'm stepping out. And I'm stepping out.
So no matter what, we are stepping out. So I would like to invite Penny Thompson to read the Daily Word this morning, and we had so much fun with this. I Googled thinking I was going to be smart and prepare, and I found this wonderful Daily Word, sent it to Penny, and we realized it was from 1964, but we both really liked it. May 17th, 1964. So Penny, thank you for reading this for us.
Yes, good afternoon. I am the Christ. I hope everybody can see me and hear me. Beloved, I am the Christ. I am the real of you. I am that in you which never changes and identifies you with God throughout eternity. I am that in you which is good and perfect. I am the Christ. I am that in you which guides, instructs, teaches, and makes plain your way. I am the true light that shineth in the darkness. I am the source of all wisdom, the light of your understanding. I am the Christ. I am that out of which you are created. I am the life, substance, and intelligence of every atom and cell of your body, renewing, restoring, recreating you. I am energy, vitality, strength, wholeness, perfection. I am the Christ. I am that in you which prompts you to go the extra mile, to turn the other cheek, to lend a helping hand to one in need. I am that in you which loves and is loved. I am the Christ. I am that in you which knows no loneliness, discouragement, defeat, because I am the radiant, victorious, free spirit within you. I am the Christ. And the scripture reading is from Matthew 28, verse 20. Lo, I am with you always.
Oh, thank you, Penny. Powerful words of truth. I would now like to invite Deborah Martin, our prayer partner on duty for this week, to please lead us in the affirmative prayer.
Thank you, Linda. We are this month celebrating the power of faith, which is the ability to believe, intuit, and perceive. The disciple for this is Peter, who showed his faith in God. The color is blue, and as you can see in the illustration, it's located in the center of the brain. Faith blesses my day and paves my way. Let's say that together. Faith blesses my day and paves my way. And this month we are holding in prayer Unity Church of Mississauga, Ontario, and Unity of Barrie, which is affiliated with Unity Canada, also in Ontario. There are 12 disciples and 12 powers. Each power is associated with the disciple who most evidenced that power. Peter, the disciple formerly known as Simon, is most associated with the power of faith. The word Simon at the time meant the one who hears the word of God. Peter at the time meant rock. The name change from Simon to Peter recognized the transformation of a man from someone who heard God's word to a spiritual rock. And upon this rock, a church was built. Let us now turn our attention to the virtual prayer box that we have created in chat and give thanks for having loved ones, family, friends, relatives, and colleagues to pray for. These people are so important to us. And as we breathe in and out, we focus our minds on those people and any names in the chat box. We bless all these people with our love. We assert that we are all divine, healed, and whole, just like God made us. And we are grateful for the great blessing of love. We release this prayer into the prayer field, knowing that it's already being put into action. And so we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. So it is. Amen.
Thank you, Deborah. Oh, beautiful. And we will hold, if there are any other names that come into the chat box, we will equally hold them in prayer while the service is going on. So before I introduce our guest speaker, if any of you are on gallery view, where you can see the participants, please switch to speaker view now so you can focus on our speaker. On the right, top right corner, either click on the word gallery view or hover over the picture and select the smaller of the two boxes. So now it gives me great pleasure to finally introduce our guest speaker, all the way from the US, Reverend Dr. Martha Creek. One of the bonuses of this global shutdown is that we get to have Martha as our guest speaker without all the travel expenses. So there are some benefits. Many of you have heard her speak, have taken a class, or have studied with Martha. And I invite you to type yes into the chat box if this is you. So well known in New Thought, Martha's trainings approach deep inner work as an adventure with a sense of curiosity and wonder. A master of the art of right questioning, she calls forth the most stubborn and self-defeating patterns to create a new way of life, literally. Ordained in religious science and divine science, Martha has served as Great Lakes Unity Consultant and a member of the Unity Institute faculty. She has attended Emerson Theological Seminary, obtaining both master's and doctorate degrees, the Byron Katie School for the Work, and the Hoffman Institute. She is also a Healthy Congregations facilitator and trainer. Martha has also been an advisor to our board of directors during some periods of transition in our own Unity history, and for that we are very grateful. So please join me in welcoming Martha. We will first have Spencer play meditation music. Martha will begin with the meditation and then move into her talk. So Martha, we are absolutely delighted to have you with us. And thank you for your flexibility and being available not only this morning, but this afternoon.
go of the shore and let the water carry me. Let go of the shore, flow into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry me. Let go of the shore, flow into the mystery. I have all I need, it's all inside of me. I close my eyes and breathe and know that I am safe. Let go of the shore and let the water carry me. Let go of the shore, flow into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry me. Let go of the shore, flow into the mystery.
Invite you to a big deep breath and to aware that in our time of meditation, we're not looking to overcome anything. We're pausing and purposeful, intentional of realizing what is true. And active in our power of imagination, of faith, and leaning into the direction of curiosity. Imagine now what it would be like to live in well-being. Invite you to say these words silently or aloud. No matter the circumstances, my heart knows well-being. No matter the circumstances, my heart knows well-being. Embodied in this zone, a new zone of being, a new comfort zone, freer, more liberated, more awakened, more aware, and alive in a new possibility today. Your new possibility, my new possibility that is infinite. aware and noticing the lower tendencies, the distractions, and aware that they don't have power over us. That the power we have and hold is God-given power, innate in each and every one of us. That no circumstance, no situation holds power. The power is within you. The power is of you, through you, for you, from you. So who would you be exercising this power as situations arise, as upset arises, as loss arises, as frustrations arise? And not under their effects. What would that be like? I invite you to say these words silently or aloud. God is. I am. I think that way. I pray that way. I live that way. So we give thanks today for this remembering. We give thanks today for the transformation of our heart, for the transformation of our mind. We give thanks for a transformation of our mental faculty, of our emotional faculties, of our physical faculty, and of our spiritual faculty that is aligned. Spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, aligned with infinite potential. Never separate, never apart from. And here and now, in this here and now, claiming a transformation of ourselves individually, in our soul's progression, and in the soul's progression of humanity. And we begin again. And we do so grounded in oneness and alive in the God is, I am, I pray that way, I think that way, I live that way, and the infinite potential of bringing that forth. Sharing from the reality, the fullness, the embodiment of it, then able, then and only then able, and to that degree, offering it out into the world. And so it is. Amen. Okay, so I bet today, besides this Zoom ditty, you've had plenty of chances to accept the mysteries of life. Huh? So what's the consequences of you when you lose your curious mindset? when you lose the mindset that says, how will this unfold? What is this here to teach? What am I to learn from this? What will I shed as a result of this? What will be the new iteration of me? What will be the new iteration of humanity? So those are all very powerful questions, and only really powerful if we pause to consider them. Because the mind that we're dealing with, that's more of a closed mindedness, a fixed mindedness, meets questions like that with, I already know what to do. I already know how it should go. I already know the right thing to do. So it's rooted in, and then rutted, running a track of, I know, instead of, I don't know. And I will be in a great deal of consequence, apathy, resentment, frustration, upset with the believing I know, or believing I should know, or that I need to know. And then there's a power of freedom and liberation in a curiosity mindset. And psychologists have proven this for years. It's referred to in psychology terms as a fixed mindset, which gives up. Why bother? It will see no option. That's what happens when we regress to the little bitty part of the brain that's reptilian. Then it won't look to see, what could I do in this situation? How could I resource around this? What have I done in the past that would work? What do other people do in situations like this? So any question, hold out, will keep us above the line, so to speak. Less regressed, more in a growth mindset, which is where all the potential is. It's where the upper room of the mind, that's referred to in all faith traditions, to get into the upper room of the mind, to get in our higher self, our divine self, the part of us that's not marred down with these physical circumstances and situations. So get the sense of then any place that you're giving up, what you could do to shift that into, what could I do here? So feel the difference of, I've lost my job. What am I going to do? I've lost my job. What am I going to do? Or I've lost my job. What am I going to do? All the power resides in that curiosity, that opened, growth-minded road, a new direction, and a very different direction for most of our minds. It also, the closed, fixed-mindedness of us will magnify things. Have you noticed? It'll exaggerate and awfulize, and ain't it awful, ain't it awful, ain't it awful, it's just awful. Listen to how awful it is. So then it's magnifying difficulties. Things are difficult. There are challenges. Now is no time to deny that there's challenges. And this, even things like saying, oh, we're not isolating, we're socially distancing. It's like, no, we are isolated. We're isolated. And it's really showing in humanity what happens when human beings, wired for connection, wired for relationship, wired for community, isolate. And it's not pretty. So make no bones about it. Humanity is in isolation right now. So God bless you, the leaders here, Deborah, Sue, Linda, Stephen, whoever's in there leading this, that you continue these good works to close that gap of isolation with your own community and your own members and your own tribe, and to do so for families, because we can say all day we're not isolating, but like the proof is in the pudding, so to speak, that there's consequences here of being isolated and having the gap that we do here. So it's no time then to say, to deny, oh, there's no difficulty here, but not to magnify them, not to focus on them, and not to then awfulize them. So then instead of awfulizing them, then from a growth-minded mindset, it's like, then how can I respond to this? What would be sane, sensible action? What would a sane, sensible response to this mean? How can I meet this difficulty differently? How can I meet this challenging situation differently? So regardless of the situation or circumstance, my heart knows well-being. So well-being is an option. Mental well-being, emotional well-being, physical well-being, spiritual well-being. Regardless of the circumstance, the heart knows and has access to well-being. Then the mind that gets panicked, afraid, and scared will be closed down. It won't be open to learn or open to consider things. It certainly doesn't want feedback because it already knows how things ought to go or how they better go. And I will not have peace unless they go that way. And it's like, well, you're likely not going to have much because life is unfolding on its own timing, in its own perfection, not according to how we prefer. So then I can then open my arms to, as Spencer sung for us, swing wide the doors. Swing wide. Let go of the shore. Let go of my notions that it's going to go my way. Let go that it's going to go as planned, certainly according to my important plan. And then a more of a growth-minded then can see that allows for challenges. It knows that life includes these. There's no life journey that's not going to have some challenge at times, that's going to have situations that are boogery and require a different mindset to navigate them. So that allows then for challenges and accepts that the challenges, the difficulties are part of our human learning processes. They're part of our evolutionary processes. So a growth-minded then can accept that and to say, this is included in the lay of the land here. And then the fixed mindset will not be open. It's usually not like people in us in these centers, like of all that you could be doing today, you're here like thinking, I'm going to learn something. I'm going to hear something. I'm going to hear something even while I present that's going to transform my mind. That's going to give me a more solid ground to operate on emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. So we're instead of stopping learning, like, oh, I've got my degrees, oh, I've got my certificates, oh, I've got my letters behind my name. It's like that we're meant to learn, to grow, to get into our infinite potential. And the fixed mindedness, the righteous, indignant mind is not open to learning because it's already figured it out. It's already laid it out. It's already got the answers for itself. And then it also tends to focus then, the fixed mindedness in us focuses on what's not working. It'll talk about the problems, the problem with it. The problem is it, what didn't go well, what didn't work well. So it's over focused then on what didn't work or what doesn't work. And then the mind is trained, that's the operating system of the mind, to go into any situation and point out all that's wrong with it. And then an open mindset, a more growth-minded set approach, arena, is governed by insight, new insights. How else could I see this? What am I not seeing about this? What good has already come from this? What good could potentially come from this? So it's far more objective. The growth-minded aspect of us, the higher mind of us, is growth-minded, is far more likely and patterned then and can be practiced and practiced and practiced into thinking in terms of objectivity, from a view of objectivity, versus the smaller self is stuck in its subjectivity. So, and we cannot be objective about something and subjected to it at the same time. So it's no little thing to be able to have just a hair of objectivity about a situation, a circumstance, or an attitude, or a behavior, or anything like that. And then to stop speaking in proof that already keeps our already drawn conclusions in place. That's the sign of the fixed mindedness, that it already comes in with its proof of why this is wrong, why it's bad, why it's awful, why this won't work. And then we seldom ever stop to see what's the consequences to my life if I continue that. If I continue to speak about that, if I continue to tell that, if I continue to bring that kind of evidence in already like some of you that study with me have heard me say, in the beginning, there was the conclusion. It's like, that's what it means, like that fixed mindedness. And then the other part of our mind then that so holds this potential for us to meet life on different terms, to meet life on its terms with different terms from us. Less demanding, less willful and stubborn, less likely to go into apathy or resignation or why bother, instead of what could I do here? Like, I'm going to resource around this. What would work? How do other people do it? And then we are then able to look at what is as what is. It's neither good nor bad. It's what is. And then there's a real power that comes from just naming what is simply what is, minus the label of the good and bad, which is the oldest paradigm known to creation. It then gives us a chance to evaluate the situation objectively with an open mind that says, what would sane, sensible action do here? And then to discern, how am I going to be with this? Not how am I going to change a circumstance, but how am I going to change me in my relation to the circumstance, which holds all the power in the universe to do that. So get a sense, just pause for a minute and get a sense of the inertia of that fixed mindedness, that fixed know-it-all, got it figured out. They should ask me, they should listen to me, they better listen to me. And that'll give up, throw in the towel, or get mad and fight, go to war, attack, blame, shame, fault find, nitpick, dramatize, exaggerate. Very, very consequential. That'll magnify the difficulties, focus on them, over-focus on them, which powers them up. Not open to new learning or new ideas. Very consequential. And then get a sense that today, this day, May 17 in 2020, that we moved out of a theoretical understanding of curiosity to living from curiosity, accepting life as it unfolds, accepting the mystery of it, that I am not to understand this, and to cease trying to make sense out of things that don't make sense and can't make sense. And in this third dimension, this low view world of it, this low world view of it, we will not ever understand this. And to give up trying to figure it out and to get the formula. But to say, no, I accept the mystery of things. Accept the timing of its unfolding. And Myrtle Fillmore has a quote that I love, one of the co-founders of Unity. And she says, we have within us, you have within you, the God-given power and intelligence, all the 12 powers of courage, faith, will, zeal, imagination, love, order, letting go, strength. Within us, we have that power to create a world that we dream of. And it will not come from trying to rearrange the external world, but from doing our own deep inner work and bringing well-being that's our heart knows. The well-being our heart has more than a glimpse of, fuller into our being. And only to the fullness, when we bring that fuller into our being, can we be the presence of well-being for the world, or to bring an energy of well-being to the world. God is God has already given everything required to build such a world. So that is within you, that is within me, the God-given capacities to do this. And my favorite part of the quote is, she says, and get at it. So let's get at it. So less dramatizing. And boy, we say we don't like drama, but it ain't so. We still get off on drama because the scientists have proven it. It's its own addiction. So it'll be no little thing today. If today, right now, you say, I'm really going to practice this. I'm going to test this for myself to see what would a spirit of curiosity bring me? What would it do for my life, my mental world, my emotional world, my physical world, for me to be more curious, more accepting of the mysteries of it, surrender to the need to know or must know, and then discerning in every situation, every time a knucklehead appears in my life, to exercise the power within me to say, I get to pick how I'm going to relate to this. And I'm going to choose differently. I'm going to circuit break those lower tendencies, and I'm going to choose differently. So get a sense of this. Acceptance does not mean liking what is. You don't have to like it a bit or love it, for sure you don't. Doesn't mean that. And it even causes dissonance, a cognitive dissonance to say we should love what is. Versus no, acceptance is then that I'm giving up the struggle against this. I'm going to give up the struggle of what I can't change. And I'm going to quit resisting what is included. Whatever life brings is included. And my resistance to it is causing this pain, this suffering. And it's an active process. It's not a destination, somewhere we just arrive, but practice, practice, practice. And practice makes progress. Practice makes progress. So it sends us and keeps us going in the direction of liberation, of freedom. And it doesn't mean that I'm not going to work to change things. So change what you can. Accept what you cannot. Know the difference. So it means then I'm going to be differently with all situations of life. And I'm going to practice stopping, dropping in to the well-being that my heart knows. I know well-being. My heart knows well-being regardless of the situation, regardless of the circumstances. So take a big, deep breath and be aware of the part of you that knows the truth. Not Martha Creek's truth, your truth. Close your eyes. And silently or aloud, I invite you to say these words. I know who I am. I know what I am. I know how I serve. I am here. I am here. I am here. So we give great thanks for this day, for this remembering, and for this being, and for this becoming. And we begin again, and we do so on purpose, and we do so alive in the truth. And so it is. Amen.
Imagine a month of Sundays, each one a cloudy day. sun came shining through. Imagine that ray of sunshine as you remember your darkest hour. The dawn's still far away. Remember the way that you long for morning's light. Think of yourself as a candle in the night. Make believe this is the first day. Everything's all brand new. Make believe that the sun's your lucky star. Think of yourself as the kind of gift you are. The gift you are. Like the very first breath of springtime. The gift you are. Joy that love can bring. The gift you are. All of our dreams come true. The gift you are. The gift of you. You are the prophets of all the ages. You are the prodigal son. You are the vision of promise and sages. You are the only one. Dream of a bright tomorrow. Dream, dream will come true. Carry your dream in a sparkling crystal jar. And know that the kind of gift you are. The gift you are. Like the very first breath of springtime. The gift you are. All the joy that love can bring. The gift you are. All of our dreams come true. Yes, they do. The gift you are. The gift of you. The gift you are. The gift of you.
Well, thank you, Spencer. You truly are a gift for our community, as is Reverend Martha Creek. What an awesome talk, Martha. And I'll have more to say on that in a little bit. So right now we are starting our prosperity service, our prosperity part of the service, where, we get to contemplate the sharing of our own prosperity. That during this eventful time in our lives and in the world, it's an opportunity to affirm that no matter what is happening, we are still part of that flow, that infinite abundant flow from universal source, because we are source presence. And that divine presence And nature is within us. And this is true regardless of what is happening in our outer world, as Martha so beautifully illustrated. So I invite you to be an active partner in the divine flow, substance, and nature and presence that USCO is. And so as we give, we receive, and the more we live abundantly in the flow of life. So let's contribute it easily and regularly. Our expenses are continuing as a community. And we are so grateful, and we bless you for sharing that abundance with us. There are multiple ways. They're in the newsletter, and if you need some extra support on that, please email the office at Office Unity, if I get that right, Office Unity Ottawa at yahoo.ca, and also on our website for PayPal. So please join me in knowing the affirmation. Sheila, could you just go back one? In knowing the affirmation. Let's say together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I have, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Spencer is going to lead us in a prosperity song, What a Wonderful World, written by George David Weiss and Bob Thiel.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the skies, also on the faces, people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll never know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Thank you, Spencer. And it is truly a wonderful world. Now, we have a birder in our midst, and that is Sheila Purcell. And every week, she puts a new bird on our blessing, our Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa blessing. And this week, I wonder how many of you know what you're looking at. But these are fledgling the baby screech owls, eastern screech owls. And the really cool thing is after we say this blessing together, just imagine that the blessing is being taken on the wings of these birds that Sheila puts up every week and sprinkled so abundantly everywhere, blessing and uplifting all of that Unity Spiritual Center is. And the actually in Mud Lake, which is right beside me, we do have little baby screech owls, and we have baby ravens as well. So it's pretty cool. So will you join me in blessing Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa together? Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa is abundantly blessed. Creative people are drawn to us. Divine ideas flow through us. Financial resources bless us. And we accomplish mighty works together. Take it away, Eastern little screech owls. Okay, and our children's blessing. Well, you know, we do share the screen equally with the beautiful pets we have in our life, and sometimes the ones that are no longer with us who shared a wonderful time, wonderful memories. And we have Sheila's Neo, good many years for Sheila, just a joy to her. And my cat, Benny. And you'll notice by Benny's position who rules the roost. But please, think of your own pet, either here in the physical form or pets that are now, you know, have gone across that rainbow bridge. And let us bless them. Together, you are the peace, the love, and the light of this world. Let your light shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, hey, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I'm gonna take this light around the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Take this light around the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Take this light around the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, yeah, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Every day, I'm gonna let my little light shine.
Ah, yes, let us all let our little light shine as we move forward in this week. I want to start by thanking, first of all, each and every one of you as participants who agreed to come back this afternoon and share service with us to absorb the wisdom of Martha Creek. And I think you'll all agree with me that Martha, you are an artist of, you paint pictures with words and just so eloquently. I don't know anyone who could more masterfully share with us what the challenges of a fixed mind are. So creatively that that even if we thought we didn't have a fixed mind, we would find a small part of that somewhere. So really welcome that. Welcome also what it's like to live with an open mind, to live with that sense of curiosity. And I know, for one, I'm going to put it on a sticky and put on my fridge the quote, regardless of circumstances, my heart knows well-being on all levels. And truly beautiful. Spencer Scarf, it's always lovely to have you join us. Look forward to, having an opportunity to hear your music in person. I know that Zoom can sometimes be a little choppy, but it was great to hear you. You do John Denver so well. I think you could be a shoe-in for him. Deborah Martin, thank you for your prayers. They're beautiful. And Penny Thompson, I appreciate you stepping in for the Daily Word. We had Sonia for 2 weeks, and it's an open invitation to anyone in the community to please, email Sheila at the office and let her know that you're interested in reading the Daily Word. It's nice, to have other people be part of our service. And co-host Diana Romero, thank you. Sheila Purcell, who's our host and coordinator, We couldn't have done it without you. And what a lesson we had this morning when Zoom didn't work. And Martha, your talk was absolutely perfect, and just really helping us center. So thank you, each and every one. And next week, I am so excited to share with you a little one of my passions, which is the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt. Who are they, and what can they teach us today? And this is a picture of me just after I came out, actually, off the Great Pyramid in Giza. I was there in January, so I really excited to share this with you. So I hope some of you will show up to hear me. And in closing, oh yes, before I close, just a reminder that Deborah Martin is our prayer partner on duty for this week, and she is available to pray with you should you like that. And please email Sheila, officeunityottawa@yahoo.ca, and Sheila will make sure that Deborah gets your prayer request, and she will look into contacting you. And of course, there's all our other options online at unity.org. Download the YouPray app or call You Silent Unity 24/7 at 1-800-NOW-PRAY. So in closing, as we come to the end of our service today, we take a moment to appreciate the gifts of nature, to claim our gift of curiosity, and as Martha said, to live from a mindset of curiosity. We praise it, we bless it, we give thanks for it, and consider putting into practice at least one of Reverend Martha's wise suggestions. These times call for the amplification of both our faith and our curiosity and our inner work, because ultimately we are here to experience what it's like to live from our heart and to serve one another. So let us use our gifts wisely and generously. Please join us as Spencer will lead us in the prayer for protection. Welcome you to hold your hands out to receive this. And we will just imagine an etheric circle in your mind's eye for our closing song at the end. And please stay on afterward for fellowship, and more on that in a moment. Take it away, Spencer.
Light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The power of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. Presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let there be love on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be love on earth, the love that was meant to be, with God ever present, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony.